Hey everyone, good afternoon. Ryan talking here from the Black Room. Hope everybody's having a good day. We had some really nice gaps today. I think that there was a lot of stuff to do. It was a very busy day in the Black Room, and I wanted to come on and we talked about this a little bit in the Black Room this afternoon. But I wanted to talk about. I'm just taking a picture here of the trade because I forgot to do this before I came on. But I want to talk about the using support and resistance on a professional gap. Today we had the DVA, had two calls today, had the EA and the DVA. Both were short and both were pro gap downs. And I wanted to touch on, we had this gap down which cleared the support on the daily chart, but then on an intraday time frame, I want to take a look at how I use support and resistance. Okay, so the DVA is what we'll focus on. This was a professional gap down underneath support and resistance on the daily chart, and then we had this void until this daily pivot here to right around $66 or so. All right, and so we gap down, we did igniting move lower, and then we had this void. Okay. So let's go to the intraday chart here, and we'll look at the 1 minute. First off here, I just took a picture from the room here. This was the short, all right, 67.10 by 67.30. Okay. Let me go to a 2 minute as well, and we'll go back and look at the support and resistance that was established after the open. Okay, so like I said, we were into this void before. Here's the 1 minute. We'll go back to the 2 minute as well because it was a 2 minute sell setup. That was the entry. So make this a little bit bigger. The entry was 67.10 by 67.30 here. Okay, so that was the entry. We ended up taking half at 1.5 Rs. We took another quarter when we broke at the low of the day here. 66.49 was the exit. I was on the mic then. Here was the exit, and 82 was the first exit. And then we covered the rest over the 5 minute pivot here. Okay, so this was the entry. Okay, so now that we got that out of the way, let's look at the price action here on DVA off the open. Okay, so we got sold right away, and then we got a strong bounce, right, as we can see presented in this bottoming tail on the DVA. So we had established some initial support here. We got sold, and we had a little bit more where we retested this prior support, and then a third time. Now, I'm a trend trader. On the DVA, I wanted to see this break this level of support here before I went short, right? So the earliest that I can go short on the DVA is when we establish a downtrend intraday, all right? So we were in a sideways base here on this price action, and then as soon as we broke this support, now it's established a downtrend. That's when I can short it. All right. Now, you could have taken this short right under the low of the day with a stop here. I think that's okay. It wasn't. I was a little bit busy with a couple other trades, but it was okay to take. I didn't think it was that good. But this is what really stood out to me was, one, we had this clear line of support that we created after we opened. So we're into the void on the daily chart, and then I'm watching the price action, and we get this clear line of support after the open. And this is really important to me, that in the first 15-30 minutes that I start to look at where is support and resistance being created after the gap. All right, and this is where the buyers were stepping up because of the gap in the shock value. I felt that the sellers had more conviction, which they did, so that we ended up breaking this prior support. And what happens to support after we break it? Well, it becomes resistance. All right, and then if you look at where we initiated the short, we came right back and tested that prior area. All right, we came right back and tested this prior support, and the really nice thing about this pattern was we triggered the 1 minute sell setup right at the resistance area there, and then we confirmed with this topping tail. So the price action that went on here is we moved up, we triggered the sell setup, popped, confirmed, and then dropped lower, right? Creating a M pattern, a retest and failure, whatever you want to call that. It retested, we got this topping tail, and then we got short. And if we look to the left, the location was right at this prior support here, right? So I'm shorting at resistance, which was support. And that's one of my favorite locations to take a short position. All right, so if we go back, let me get my eraser here, and if we look at the 2-minute chart, so what I was watching on the 2-minute chart, because we were after 10 o'clock, was I was just watching this pullback to see how we reacted with this price here. And I mentioned that DVA may do a 2-minute sell setup, and then as soon as we got this confirmation with this topping tail, okay, I always talk about where the point of transition, what is the price action? And we popped higher, then immediately got slammed. And so that's when I took this 2-minute sell setup here, right? And that got us into this nice downtrend, right? Now, it did continue lower here a little bit. Yeah, it did continue a little bit lower. I was on the mic and I said, this has been a really nice trade. I'm not sure if I want to sit through a 5-minute pullback or not. And so I decided to trail at 5-minute bar by bar. We got a little bit of acceleration here, and we did get a 5-minute pullback. So original stop would have held, and would have made a new low, but it really kind of petered out after that. So I was happy with this. It's a small move here, but because we had a tight stop, because we were at the right location, because we were watching the support and resistance form after the stock opened, this was the location that we were able to get short at here, right? So to sum this up, one is we were paying attention to the price action before the pattern set up, so we knew where support was because we wanted to get short at that location, which would become resistance. And then we also saw that the price action that the candlesticks presented, where we retested that location, that was when we got short, right? So a lot of times there won't necessarily be a distinct location on the daily chart if we're gapping into a void, and I want to short stocks that are into a void, right? Because we were inside this area here, between here and this support, right? So since we were in there, what I'm looking for is intraday support and resistance being created. The EA did the same thing, and I ended up passing on this sell setup, but the EA did the same thing on the 2-minute, just a little bit later. Let me go back to the 2-minute chart here, and same thing right here. Created this intraday support, broke, came back, did a sell setup right there, right? Which held a trend for the rest of the day. I'm pretty sure it did. Let me make this a little bit bigger. Yeah. So it did this sell setup here, right? So here's another stock that did this today. I'm sure that if I went around and looked at a bunch of other examples, we could find more. But I just wanted to mention this to you guys, and hopefully this helps with the watching support and resistance be created as it is revealed, I should say, as it's revealed as the stock opens, and how you can use that to execute your edge. All right, thanks everyone. Appreciate it. Hopefully this is helpful. As always, stay in process, and I will talk to you guys tomorrow. Thanks, guys.